because it goes really
What do you
well.
actually say when you finally get someone on a phone call? What is your pitch? Like, pretend I'm the concrete contractor. What do you say to me? We're talking now. Yeah,
Okay.
so can you just maybe some role playing, Michelle? What do you do when you call?
Well, usually I have some kind of contact with them because I usually put up an ad that says something like concrete contractors needed on Facebook. And so then I'll have like maybe a list of different contractors that message me. And so then I find out from them if they're really a contractor. I pre-approve them on my Facebook. Are they really a contractor? Do they work in the Portland area? Do they have a crew? And I get quite a few responses to that. So I know that's not the problem right there because it goes really
What do you
well.
actually say when you finally get someone on a phone call? What is your pitch? Like, pretend I'm the concrete contractor. What do you say to me? We're talking now.
Okay. Hi, Patrick. I'm so glad I was able to talk to you. I was wanting to tell you a little bit more about what kind of jobs that I had that I was looking for. I have several residential people that are really looking for someone to take care of some concrete. And I was wondering, do you have the ability to handle more leads right now?
So to me, that's screaming like telemarketer.
Okay.
It's not
Not horrible, but
it's not horrible.
It sounds like the norm of what you
Sounds like Home Advisor.
It sounds like you're reading the script. It sounds like you're reading the script. I think people like to buy from people. And if you're just really normal, and I will say that sometimes they don't expect, this is my opinion, I don't know about anybody else, but this is kind of like male dominated, like digital marketing. And when a woman calls, I think it's a little bit different. And I think it's just being normal. Like, don't sound like so super professional and just be regular, conversate, connect with the person. You don't need to be so salesy. Like, they need you, you don't need them. Just, if you remember that.
Hey, how about the buffoon technique? Have you checked out the buffoon technique?
Can I ask one question? I have to ask a question, which is, Michelle, if your uncle or your brother-in-law was a concrete guy and he came to a cookout at your house and you hadn't seen him in a few months and you had all these leads, what would you say to him?
Yeah.
Would you say what you just said?
Why I'm hesitating for a minute is I actually have a son-in-law who's in concrete business, but he's in larger construction. So
whatever. But pretend you have somebody that you could pitch to, like somebody in your family. What would you say to them? Because I'm pretty sure it isn't what you just said to Patrick.
No, definitely not.
So then what would you say?
I don't know. I guess that's what I'm having a hard time with.
How's business? Do you want leads?
Yeah, I think you're overthinking it, Michelle. I really do.
No, that wouldn't be the first time.
You want some leads? I got leads. I'll just give them to you. You can have them. See how it goes. Turn them into money. That's all I ask.
You don't.
Dan, you want to go to that buffoon thing you were going to mention?
Yeah. I mean, yes and no. I mean, the buffoon is basically just not sounding like a script, like scripted. It's just
right.
Like, I like stories personally because I think people can connect with stories. And so, you know, some of the stories that I've used in over time, and these are not untrue stories. Like the one that comes to mind is my carpet cleaner guy, and I needed to replace that client. And he had just like broken up with his wife, and he's like, I'm gonna move to Bend, Oregon. This is them. And so I went for the first guy on AdWords, second one's on AdWords, because I'm like, well, I know they're spending money on advertising, and people that advertise tend to advertise. So I'm like, if they're spending money on Google ads for clicks, I'm gonna go find out what they're paying per click, use like SpyFu or whatever. And it's like, if they could get a lead for the price they got a click, which one would you want?
Oh,
like,
yes.
That's a really good way to kind of like simplify it in your brain. And then I called him with a story. I'm like, hey man, this might be weird, but I'm a competitor of yours. I'll tell him that straight up. I'm a competitor of yours, but I'm probably going to get out of the business. I was actually just the web side of the business. I was tasked with doing all leads, and we've probably spent, gosh, $30,000 to $40,000 in labor and work and strategy and effort to kind of get this business up to the point where we're about ready to launch. But my partner, who was actually the guy that was going to do the work, him and his wife just got in this crazy thing, and he's leaving town. It sounds like they're going to they're breaking up, and he's going to start business in another town. So, gosh, I'm just reaching out because I'm getting all these calls. I don't know what to do with them because I was just the website of the business. Like, would you have any use for this? And it's a pretty kind of like, it almost makes you feel like they're taking candy from a baby because they're like, you see what I'm saying? But it's so much different than the pitch of the lead and the, sales side of it that you're doing. And I think if you spend some time on a story that, people see things in pictures of how you explain them. Great salespeople are usually really good storytellers. And so get away so much from the script and get more into just like something that they can understand and see that's not the norm of what they would hear in a sales conversation, because I'm still getting the same result. Right. So it's just, again, it goes like, it's that Macy's. I'm just looking. It's just pre-programmed.
Yes.
So you're getting pre-programmed responses.
What I want to
Here's an important question. Michelle, the 26 people, what was the objection? What happened before the phone got hung up?
most of them thought it would be a good idea, but they said that they didn't want to pay for leads.
Okay.
So they didn't qualify.
Well, then why don't you change your qualification on the thing that you're getting your leads from?
Uh-huh.
Like change up. Like if you guys look at my qualification, it's like, don't get on this phone if you're dead broke. I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Don't. I have nothing to say to you because you can't buy. So why are we talking?
I think some of these people probably they want to buy, but maybe if she comes across as a telemarketer, they don't really see the value in it as much as like they don't believe that it's worth paying for. It's not a question that like, you know, when I'm hit with that objection, I'm like, look, you know, you may not be used to paying for leads, but if I sell you a lead for $1 that's worth $5, it's pretty expensive for you not to buy this lead. So you can go on not buying leads from me, or you can make more money by buying. And like, I don't, Michelle, you seem like really sweet and like polite. And I think there's like a certain edge that can be beneficial sometimes on these sales calls where you put stuff right back in their face and be like, look, I'm going to sell this to somebody and it's going to be profitable. It can be you or it can be somebody else. I know it's not like you got to do it without being a dick, but you know, what I do is like, it's not for everyone what we do. You know, we're designed to work with companies that want to grow big, and some people don't. Some people are happy with what they're doing. So if this isn't for you, that's cool. But maybe you have somebody, maybe you have another concrete company in town that's really trying to grow a big company. And, you know, it can kind of really, you get enough of these little things in there and you start manufacturing this, like your calls in this way and twisting it. A lot of the stuff starts to click and you don't run into these objections of like, I don't want to pay for leads. Because really to me, what that sounds like is, I don't trust you. I don't believe that your lead is like worth paying for.
And I would add to that, Michelle, I let them know that they're not the only one I'm speaking to. Like if you tell them like, listen, especially if you put an ad up, listen, I got a lot of interest. You know, maybe you did some research on, listen, I learned a little bit about what you do and I see that you do a great job. I'm interested in you. So blah, 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 whatever, you know, sell them, but let them know that you're not only speaking to them and you're going to the market no matter what. So you're just looking for somebody. And I don't like to say lead. I like to say whatever if it's their customer, their patient, whatever it is, and speak a little bit more normal instead of saying leads. I don't know. I just feel like it feels a little scripted too.